So here we are, continuing where we were from the last video. We had the graph of this line in point slope form, and we had all these equations, these four equations that all represented the same line. Now I'm going to talk about, instead of point slope form, we're going to talk about slope intercept. Slope intercept. I ran out of space there. Slope intercept. Okay, so slope intercept is a little different. Basically, what we can do with any of these equations is solve for y, just do a little manipulation, and we will wind up in slope intercept form. So in this equation, I want to distribute this -1/2. So we wind up with y minus 3 equals -1/2 x plus 1, right? -1/2 times -2 plus 1. And then I'm going to move the 3 over by adding 3 to the other side. And we wind up with y equals -1/2 x plus 4. Okay, let's try that with another equation. Let's try that with this version of the equation down here. I'm skipping this one just because I don't have room, but you're going to see what happens here. Let's distribute this -1/2. Of course, we don't really have anything to distribute to, so this side winds up -1/2 x. And then let's move the 4 to the other side. We wind up with plus 4. So y equals -1/2 x plus 4, which is exactly what we wound up with here. If we do this to this equation, of course, this is already y equals, there's just -0. If we distribute the -1/2, we wind up with -1/2 x. -1/2 times -8 is plus 4. So we wind up with the same thing 4 times. Now, what you have here is, and maybe you've seen this before, we tend to call this y equals mx. That totally makes sense so far, because this is the slope, right? That's the m, same m we've been calling it in point slope form too. And then we call this is a really stupid letter for this, but we call this plus b. All right, and plus b, notice that this value here is the y-intercept, right? The value of y when x is 0. So b is the y-intercept. More specifically, the y-intercept is the point 0b, right? In this case, 0, 4, right? So that gives you a reason why this slope intercept is always there. It comes from point slope form if you just solve for y. What's also nice about, well, sometimes nice about point slope form. One thing that's nice about point slope form is that you can have various equations meaning exactly the same thing. And one thing that's nice about slope intercept is that you can't. So slope intercept form, there is only one way to describe this line in slope intercept form, and that's y equals -1/2 x plus 4. The intercept always refers to the y-intercept. It never refers to the x-intercept. We don't have an x-intercept form. We have a y-intercept form. Okay, so slope intercept gives you the slope and the y-intercept. I'll give you some more examples in another video just to clear up some details. But that really is the essence of slope intercept form.